Well, before we get to that, and I don't know if we updated the agenda, we had two additional resolutions. You guys need to declare intent to be lead agency to start seeker on those two zoning petitions that we had for the vet clinic and the general retail and vet clinic, the RDX. So, we added those to Dropbox.
It's in F.
Okay, I didn't see that.
I apologize.
It says, I think it's under 7F and 7G.
F and G in the Dropbox.
That's the first one.
Yeah, I'm sorry, they're not right, separate.
So who are we designating as lead agency? Are we taking that upon ourselves? Are we giving?
Yeah, you guys are going to be late. The village board is lead agency, but Anna, why don't you go ahead and Jan drafted and.
Yeah, this is really purely a procedural requirement. Both actions, we have two petitions, two applications for zoning text amendments. Each one is a type 1 action under seeker. Type 1 actions require a coordinated review. So there needs to be a lead agency if approvals are needed from more than one agency. Here, the planning board is a potential involved agency. So to start that process, there's a notice of intent, a declaration of intent for lead agency that needs to be circulated. It's purely procedural. Before this board, assuming this board would want to be lead agency, since it's a text amendment primarily that's involved, then you would need to start this process, to start the SEQR review process. So it's a formality, it's a requirement under the SEQR regulations, because again, this is a type 1 action under SEQR. It must be a coordinated review. So Jan drafted the resolution and the notice. There's only one potentially involved agency, that is the planning board of Mount Kisco. So it will be circulated to the planning board. They have up to 30 days to act, either accept, not react at all, or decline lead agency because they would like to be lead agency, and they would let the Board of Trustees know that. Typically, that doesn't happen. In a situation like this, typically the involved agency would acquiesce, and the Board of Trustees would be lead agency, again, at the end of 30 days, or it could be sooner if the planning board states they have no objection. That would start the SEQR process, the formal SEQR review of the environmental assessment form. And that's where we are. The applicant, because this is a type 1 action, both applicants had to submit full environmental impact statements. Again, because both are type 1 actions. Those had not been submitted with the petitions. Subsequently, those were submitted, and they went under a preliminary review by the village planner. He completed that preliminary review today, I believe, and submitted comments on the EAF. And that's really where we are. So I would characterize this as a formality under SEQR, but it will start the process. And that's my explanation.
And we would get copies of his report in a timely fashion?
Yes, once the information comes in, yes. What I would request, and I think it might have been mentioned, during our executive session, I'd like to also have an advice of counsel to advise the board about what the SEQR requirements are, what the SEQR regulations state. It's rather involved, and it is legal advice. So rather than take the time now, I would like to add that on to what is discussed tonight.
Does approving anything tonight put us in any time limitation, shot clock kind of
No,
scenario?
not tonight. Not tonight. Tonight would be, the only clock that would be triggered is the 30 days for the planning board, once it's circulated, for the planning board to either object or agree or not respond to lead agency. So within 30 days, this board would be deemed lead agency. There is another clock that would start, not now, once there's a full EAF and you have all the information that you need to make a determination of significance. At that point, there would be a 20-day clock to issue a determination of significance. Only at that time.
But
There's-
what does that mean before we have everything that we need? I mean,
That's for
we
you to
have-
determine. That's for you to determine. This process hasn't even started yet. It hasn't begun. So once you have the full EAF in front of you, I assume the planner will be here to review it with you
When do we expect that?
after you become lead agency. You can't start your review until you're lead agency. So that would probably happen in around 30 days, give or take, I would assume, unless the planning board comes back and says they have no objection, it could be sooner. But I would say within 30 days, that process would
I mean,
start.
I just have to say, I feel blindsided. I didn't know that this was going to be on the agenda. I view this as not an insignificant deal. We don't know what this zoning change will mean in what other zones. There's no heads up. Here we are. We're gobsmacked sitting at the board table. And, I really don't appreciate that. I mean, I'm sorry. I think this is too important to have it added at the last second. I really have a problem with that.
I apologize, we did add it last Friday. We had the packets out Thursday, it was an addition Friday, but we did include it. So,
I obviously didn't get it.
So so just to be clear, so tonight would be our intention for the board to undertake being lead agency.
that's all this is.
That's all it is.
Right.
And then we have a 30-day wait period
Right.
to see if the planning board, who is the other significant agency
Right.
that to
Correct.
come in and say something. Once
Correct.
that 30 days, or perhaps even sooner, if the planning board should say, look, this is a text change, we are not going to be lead agency, you guys are doing it,
Right.
then the tolling begins as to when
does-
we
there's no
we don't
tolling.
have tolling yet.
No, because you haven't even seen the EAF. You haven't even gotten that before you. So there's no time constraint at that point. You just start your job as lead agency
Very good.
under seeker.
Thank you.
Well, as I understand it, this will entail definition changes that pertain to principal uses in the GR, the ML, and the SC zone.
Mayor, I'm sorry. It's the RDX and the GR only.
Okay, but I don't see the RD. Am I missing something? Is there another
There's two of them,
resolution?
right there, yeah. So the first one was for the general retail, there's a second one for the RDX.
Okay, but there's still, you're eliminating some verbiage in the other districts as what the definitions are, including veterinary clinics and animal hospitals. And presently, animal hospitals are permitted uses in certain districts. So
No, I'm sorry.
Yeah, you know, you don't-
ML and the SC districts, it Veterinary clinics and hospitals. I don't believe animal hospitals. I don't believe animal hospitals are listed as a permitted use in any zoning district. That's why it's recommended that would be stricken from the code. But again,
Just a cleaning up and a clarification.
yeah. So again, I would characterize this as a formality under seeker, but it's in the board's hands, whatever you think is appropriate at this point.
I'm a little confused. I'm sorry. I didn't see it till just now. I didn't know it was in the Dropbox. I'm
Yeah.
sorry, Ed. My Dropbox is a little messy. I don't know why, but it's never in order. But I appreciate Trustee Abzin's clarification. That helped. But now I got a little more confused after the mayor spoke. I don't mean that you confused me. Just tell me what we're voting on and.
Right.
Well,
So-
I guess the question is, if we put it off to the next meeting, is it going to make any difference? I mean, we're delaying the applicant another 2 weeks, but is that fatal?
Well, are we going to gain anything? Do you want more information?
Well, I'd like to read it before I vote on it. I mean, I've never seen it.
Well, the resolution, the declaration of intent to be lead agency is here.
The point is, there's going to be,
I don't have it.
the point is, there's nothing, declaring your intent to be lead agency, one, of course, makes sense, even though the planning board's involved, because it's your board that's going to amend the zoning code.
I got it, but
Nobody else can amend the zoning code. It's
if
just.
all I'm doing is saying the village board, wants to be lead agency, planning board, tell us that you're giving it up, that's fine. But this resolution looks like it says a lot more than that, and I'm not comfortable voting on something I haven't seen.
I understand that, but I can tell you that that's really what it is. But that's fine.
I can't vote on something I haven't read.
That's fine. That's fine.
Anna, just tell me one more time what we're voting on. Just explain that.
Sure. It's under seeker procedures, because this is a type 1 action, both applications are type 1 actions, there must be a coordinated review. When there's more than one agency involved, there has to be designation of lead agency under seeker. To start that process, procedurally, there's a declaration of intent to be lead agency. Here, what's being contemplated is that the Board of Trustees, because this is a zoning text amendment, is beginning that process by issuing a declaration of intent to be lead agency. That is circulated to all involved agencies, and here there's an interested agency also, but really other involved agencies. The Planning Board is the only other involved agency that's been determined. So this notice of intent would be circulated along with the EAF Part 1 and a copy of the application to the Planning Board. The Planning Board has 30 days to object, basically, to the lead agency. If they don't object within 30 days or say they have no objection, sooner time, then this board would be lead agency for purposes of SEQR, and you could commence your SEQR review at that point. Until there's a designation of lead agency, SEQR review doesn't even start.
All right.
So that's what this is.
Got it now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks.
Any more discussion? When's the next planning board meeting?
May.
Okay, if it's not going to affect anything, then I'm not going to get in a battle over this. Let's just table it until the meeting on the 6th, and have the planner's memorandum sent in. But we're talking about two zoning districts, maybe some verbiage changes, and I think that we just want to send the message to both applicants that we're going to move as expeditiously as we can on this, because we're trying to keep people interested in doing business in the village.
Thank you.